of their proposed activities? And that answer is yes, I've used it before. It's very effective. It gives the homeowners a peace of mind. Sometimes it cleans up wells that need cleaning, and it provides a benefit to the residents of the township, while also allowing us to monitor water usage and to make sure that nothing happens to those wells that we evaluate. So the young woman who stood here before talked about her mother's well. Well, that's obviously going to be a more important consideration, and we may be looking into drafting more specific requirements as they address wells and water usage. We do not know what a data center is going to use. New technologies come out every day. It's something we have to evaluate, but we want it certainly in the ordinance in case the potential is there for affecting residential or wells of any type. Okay?
My name is Crystal Michalowski. I live in Nescapac Township, but I am a taxpayer as I own property on Nescapac Mountain. I came to speak tonight because I know a little bit about water, as Representative Walsh can attest to. So in the ordinance 802.86A2, you say water supply and conservation. A feasibility study shall be required with approval by the township engineer and PADEP. Did anyone consult with the PADEP as to which program the feasibility would be provided to for review? The DEP Safe Drinking Water Program does not review feasibility studies for data centers or even proposed public water systems. They only review applications for proposed public water systems. Now, this data center would qualify as a public water system. A public water system is one that serves 25 or more people at least 60 days out of the year. The only two regulated public water systems in Hollenbach Township are Moyers Grove and Paradise Campgrounds. That is it. There are no community public water systems in this township. Unlike Pennsylvania American Berwick, that is one of the closest community water systems. The only other one is off of Pennsylvania Wauwallapin, which only serves the borough of Wauwallapin. So take that into consideration. There are no sources of public water in this township or in the nearby areas. More importantly, there are no water rights in this Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Unlike other states, we don't have them. So it would become a civil matter if a data center would drill wells and they would take all your water, unless there is an ordinance to protect it. So that is a very crucial component of this proposed ordinance if this goes through. I would also require an independent third-party professional geologist submit any sort of studies or plans to any legal, whether it's the board, the Department of Environmental Protection, because they then have to put their professional geologist's license on the line for the data that they are submitting. Anyone can create a feasibility study that says, I want XYZ. That doesn't mean they have the necessary data to back it up and it be all, completely truthful. So be aware of that. And in the fire prevention plan, it also says on-site water supply adequate for and exclusively used for firefighting purposes. Who defines what adequate is? How many gallons a minute? For your reference, Amazon over in Berwick, if anyone's been following, they filed an application with the Public Utility Commission for an increase from 60,000 gallons per day, which is 41.6 gallons per minute, to 277,000 gallons per day, which is 192.36 gallons per minute of consumptive use. Consumptive use is the loss of water that is not available for future use within the basin, and that's the Susquehanna River Basin Commission. Okay? That would all be SRBC. And that is with a closed loop system. And that is for one building. That campus is going to be 16 to 18 buildings. But for one building, they need 277,000 gallons per day of consumptive use. That's not their domestic water use. That is not for all of the water that they need for industrial cooling. That is just the water that's going to go up and go bye-bye. I was just at the meeting for Project Hazelnut in the Humboldt Industrial Park last night. The developers admitted for their system, they can only recycle the water 3 times. before it has to get sent back to the Greater Hazelton Sewer Joint Municipal Authority where they're getting their cooling water from. So they're getting processed wastewater for their industrial cooling purposes. They can only recycle it 3 times before they have to send it back and get some more. There is no source of water in this township for cooling purposes, and even for domestic potable water. You don't know what you're getting. Like the woman said, you went from a hand-dug well to 12 gallons a minute. Amazon's well that they're currently using for domestic water uses 25 gallons a minute, and that's not enough. And they don't even have buildings online yet. So keep that in mind, that water is a very limiting factor in this township. The reason you don't have an industrial zone is because you don't have the utilities to support it. You shouldn't have to allow this in this township when you don't have the resources to support it. They will not be able It should be kept agricultural. It should be kept zoned as it is. We should not let them in, take our quality of life, take our water, because once it's gone, it's gone.
James Badman, 24 Evergreen Lane, Wapwallopin. I have several questions that no one even thought about.
Get it closer, please. Camera.
I have questions. The security, are the guards, are they going to be armed? Are they going to open a training center? Are they going to be firing thousands of rounds every year on top of the noise that we're going to hit from the data centers? Where I live, I can hear the guards over at the nuclear plant firing every morning. We don't need that. They should put a ban on private rifle ranges in the township. That's all I gotta say. I said I grew up close to a trap and skeet area, and every Sunday they fired thousands of rounds. It's just gonna be bad. All I gotta say.
My name is Valerie Schultz. I own property at 379 Moyers Road Road. I'm a growing number of residents that live in this township part-time because we grew up here, we loved where we grew up, but we moved away to get jobs. Unfortunately, there's a number of us that are coming back here because this is where we escape. This is God's country. It's one of the few remaining places you can hear coyotes, see bobcats, there's rattlesnakes. My kids never knew what any of that stuff was where we live now. And this is something we have to really fight for. I know you supervisors never thought you were going to be getting into something like this. And I know some of the residents are asking you to take a huge risk on behalf of the township and deny this use. If you choose not to take that risk, all I ask is that you please make sure that these permits or these applications come through you guys as a conditional use. You guys are the ones who were elected officials. You're the ones that the residents trust to represent them. And I would ask that you don't have it go through the zoning hearing board by special exception. I also want to ask, I know a number of these data centers are coming through and demanding that townships sign NDAs, and that prohibits the residents from getting the real information about what the impact is going to be. I'm not saying that you guys would necessarily do this, but I really would implore you, if one of the data center companies does come through with a plan, that you do not sign an NDA. And finally, I want to say to the individual who is intimidating residents in a predatory manner to try and buy out. I want you to understand that we will not tolerate that. Some of the people that you are preying on are elderly, they're vulnerable, and I tell you, we will stand behind them and make sure that there will be harassment charges filed against you. We are standing behind these people, and if they choose to back out of this agreement, don't you dare contact them again.
I want to give Mark Cowell, Peace, David, Barry, whoever, Terry, give me the opportunity to speak. As if you would like to, pardon?
If someone hasn't spoken yet about the ordinance,
Okay.
or the ordinance,
Okay.
if I'm going to say something.
That's okay, I'm just saying, if they want to speak, please, you know, because we're here about the ordinance. No, I'm not just saying if they wanted to speak, I'm just saying, don't be afraid to come up to the podium, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Okay? I'm not being nasty, I'm just saying.
It's been an excellent meeting so
Okay?
far.
I'm just saying, if they wanted to talk.
Hi, my name is Ginny Marcel Kersleg. If you want me to spell that, it's almost as hard as Annie's. MARCILLE-KERSLAKE. I'm not a resident of your beautiful township. I came here tonight from Chester County. I'm an organizer with a nonprofit called Food and Water Watch. And I also sit on my township planning commission, so I know a thing or two about zoning. I came here to remind you that you have a model ordinance, I believe, that has been prepared by Food and Water Watch. It is based on over a decade of experience in using model ordinances to protect communities and the environment in Pennsylvania against a different industry in Western Pennsylvania. I want to address a few things that people have said tonight. Number one, it is imperative that you make this conditional use. That allows you a more robust hearing. It allows the community to be dealing with the people that they elected to represent them. It also allows you to put some very strong conditions in place. So that's number one. Number two, the noise levels were brought up, and very effectively with the demonstration. The levels that you have in the draft ordinance that I've seen are well above the national and global health standards. They need to be dropped more like 45, 30 decibels. And then the final thing is your setbacks. A lot of the things that you have outlined in your lengthy ordinance on performance standards, and you know those are very hard to enforce. You're very limited by what you can charge when those are violated. The daily fees are nothing to this industry. They'll just keep violating it. So instead of having performance standards, have really good setbacks. So in our model ordinance, we recommend 2,500 feet from any residential property or zone, 1,500 feet from any agricultural, rural, conservation, or commercial district. And all buildings and cooling systems, all of this needs to be set back a minimum of 1,000 feet from any stream, wetland, or floodplain. So I hope you do make some real changes to this draft ordinance and put these protections in place. This is your chance to do this for the people you represent and this beautiful place. And so I hope that you do that. If you need another copy of our ordinance, I'm happy to provide it to you. Thanks.